Allow me to tell you a story from my childhood. I grew up in Nigeria where we don't have a steady supply of electricity. So whenever it got dark, we'd resort to using lanterns and candles to see. And as a toddler, candles were my shit. To be fair, most kids are fascinated with candles at that age because fire is something very interesting to play with. But my obsession was on a whole different level. I would wrap my fingers around the flame to pretend like I had the ability to control the flame somehow. I would poke the sides of the candle to create a puddle of wax right there at the bottom of the flame. Sometimes I would even throw foreign objects into the flame to make it change color. I was having a blast, man. But my mom was not happy with this. I mean, what mother wants to see her child mess around with fire? She tried everything to keep me away from lit candles. She gave me instructions not to touch them. That didn't work. She tried to put barricades around them, which didn't work either. I was a pretty strong and resourceful kid. At one point, she even tried to keep them in higher places that were too out of reach for me. But that was a clear fire hazard, so that didn't last. She even recruited her cousin, who was staying with us at the time, to play candle gatekeeper on her behalf. That man did not understand the assignment. He ended up showing me cool tricks I could do with fire and matchsticks. So soon he was relieved from his candle gatekeeping duties. Eventually, my mom just got tired of it all. So she decided to do what she had always known she needed to do from the start. Something that she did not want to resort to because she knew how it would make her feel. But at this point, she had no choice. She had to save her baby from the flames. So one day she took the candle and lit it, as usual, put it right on the floor in front of me, and waited. Now mind you, I was a toddler at the time. I had no concept of trap setting or anything like that. All I thought when I saw that at the time was, hell yeah, she's finally allowing me to be with my true passion. So I sat on the floor right next to the candle and started conducting my experiments on it. And that's when it happened. My mom grabbed my hand and stuck my finger right in the flame. At first I didn't feel anything, it was kind of cool actually. But then I began to feel pain. And like any other normal human being, I tried to pull my hand away, but my mom kept it there a little longer. I honestly don't remember any part of this story from my childhood. I'm guessing my subconscious just blocked it out from my memory completely, for a good reason. But whenever my mom tells me this story, she has tears in her eyes. Because no mother wants to hurt their child. But she understood something that most people don't, which is the major moral of this story. It is impossible to save anyone from any kind of danger if they're not a willing participant to their own salvation. Look, man, I don't have a problem with you wanting to save women. In fact, I would argue that a huge part of relationships is saving women from themselves. A woman's natural default setting is self-destruction. They don't see the value in planning, they don't prioritize strategizing. Their decision-making is that of a toddler, honestly. And even if they begin to prioritize planning, strategy, and decision-making, Lord knows that you don't have the emotional strength or discipline to execute on those things correctly. They need you, a strong guiding hand, to see them through things and systematically increase their chances of survival from low to very high. So yeah, whether we like it or not, we are all Captain Save-A-Ho. Or captains of saving hoes. I don't know what the plural is. If that sounds like way too much responsibility for you, then I don't know what to tell you, man. This is how it is. I didn't make the rules, I just talk about it. With that said, though, I do think that there's a certain way you have to go about saving women. Most men go about it using what I call the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man approach. It's a lot of soft pleading and cajoling her, taking off the mask and being vulnerable with her, making her feel safe and comfortable first. It's a lot of, it's okay, don't worry, just look at me, don't look down at the car that you're about to fall deep into the water with. It's trying to convince her into her own salvation, which is unfair to you. Make no mistake, you're the one with the leverage and power in this particular situation. You're the superhero and she's the damsel in distress. If you don't save her, she's not getting saved. But like I said before, she has to be a willing participant to her own salvation. And given the circumstances, you shouldn't have to go out of your way to convince her of her own salvation. That completely diminishes the value of your salvation. So instead, I suggest you take the Terminator approach. Sure, you can save her, but do it with power and authority. And just like the story I said before from my childhood, make sure she actually feels the danger coming. Don't preemptively stop the danger from coming. Let it actually sniff her a little bit. That's how she knows it's out there and she has to value your salvation. A lot of you do too good a job at protecting your woman, which is why she doesn't value that shit. If she's texting on the sidewalk and she's about to run into a pole, let her, so that the next time you take her out the way of the pole, she can appreciate you. If you keep saving her before she can tangibly see and feel the danger coming, then you're not a superhero, you're just a guy with a savior complex. But if you wait for things to go to shit, and then approach her in the midst of gunfire and chaos, with your hand stretched out saying, "Come with me if you want to live," now you're actually a superhero. Stop trying to fly to save these bitches until and unless they scream for help.